The town of Sandstone, a remote shire nestled in the red heart of Western Australia, was once a thriving gold mining town. By 2015, it was no more than a blip on the map, with fewer than 990 residents. The land had an allure only the ruggedly curious could appreciate: its sweeping ochre desert, ancient mine shafts, and endless sky. On a quiet March evening in 2015, Caroline Cramp, the manager of Sandstone Caravan Park, noticed a ghostly figure slipping between the shadows of the park. Not a person, but an old Great Dane, black and white, wandering aimlessly. The dog was thin and weary, but friendly, her collar still neatly in place. For 2 days, Caroline kept the dog well fed and hydrated, expecting her owners to claim her. When no one came, she contacted the local shire with the tag number. The dog was named Ella, and her owners, Ray and Jenny Kellett, lived 710 kilometers south in Beverly. Calls to their phones went unanswered. Ella's return, alone, felt like the first shiver of something larger and ominous in the Outback. Ray and Jenny Kellett, deeply bonded by their love for the outdoors, had recently taken up prospecting, a pastime as thrilling as it was lonely in the vast wilderness. On March 18, they had embarked on a prospecting journey to Sandstone with their trusted companion, Ella. According to Graham Mill, a work colleague and the only other known companion on the trip, they had camped at Bell Chambers, a remote desert area punctuated with disused mine shafts. But by the morning of March 22, Graham claimed he had departed alone, leaving Ray and Jenny sleeping. Days later, Melanie, Ray's daughter, was frantic upon receiving a call from the council. She and other family members began reaching out, calling Ray and Jenny with no success. The silence grew unbearable. On March 31, they filed a missing persons report with the Mount Magnet police, urging authorities to check the desolate land around Bell Chambers. A search crew arrived on April 1, finding the Kellett campsite hauntingly still. Ray and Jenny's vehicles were there, locked and intact. A frying pan sat on a table, dirty coffee mugs still on display, a scene paused in time. Unfinished. Clothes dangled from a washing line, left to sway under the desert breeze. As the search expanded, investigators made a chilling discovery. Ray's quad bike was spotted half hidden in a bush 500 meters away, as if abandoned in a rush. More ominous still, a wasp nest had formed on the handle of Ray's Land Rover, hinting at days gone by without human touch. Then, the most disquieting sight of all, a loaded firearm, lying unguarded on a seat. In the following days, searchers descended the old mine shafts, calling out for Ray and Jenny, but they were greeted only by silence. Frustration and dread mounted with each echo that returned unanswered. On April 6, an investigator, Ashley Gasmer, prepared to rappel down an older shaft. As he descended 9 meters into the darkness, his flashlight caught something in the shadows, a body, half buried under rubble. The news rippled through Sandstone, and soon Ray Kellett was identified as the remains found in the shaft. His body, battered and bruised, showed signs of severe trauma: fractures to the cheekbone, left ribs, and hyoid bone, a bone more commonly broken in cases of strangulation than a fall. The evidence suggested one thing above all: a violent end. As the investigation unfolded, suspicion began to swirl around Graham Mill, the only person known to have seen the couple last. He had recounted the events leading up to his departure: 3 days of prospecting, marred by Ella's unpredictable behavior. Graham claimed that, frustrated with Ella's constant escape attempts, he had left Ray and Jenny to search for her while he ventured off alone. He said he returned to camp late, packed his belongings quietly, and drove back to Perth. Yet his story unraveled under scrutiny. A witness spotted a figure resembling Graham on an isolated dirt road south of Sandstone in the early hours of March 22. This man, seen with a trailer loaded with a quad bike, aggressively waved off a couple who had slowed down, concerned for his well-being. When police obtained CCTV footage from a nearby station, there was no record of Graham passing by, though he claimed he took that very road. A GPS tracker from Graham's vehicle revealed a more unsettling fact: he had remained in the area near Sandstone until 10 a.m., hours after he was supposedly on his way home. When confronted, he faltered, saying he had simply changed his mind about continuing prospecting but left when he realized he was short on time. As details mounted, police turned to the mine shaft where Ray had been discovered. Evidence suggested his body had been dragged, with blood patterns indicating he had likely been upright, bleeding before he was found at the bottom. An old gas can, splattered with blood, lay nearby. A pillowcase found in the Kellett's tent had both Jenny's and Graham's DNA, leading to whispers of an affair. Graham denied any romantic connection, claiming he had only loaned the pillow to Jenny for her back pain. Family members dismissed the idea as well, describing Graham as more of an acquaintance than a close friend. Still, doubts lingered. Then there was the peculiar map, a crudely drawn mud map of the desert trails and sites the Kelletts had explored. A curious spot marked as first hole loomed on the map, not far from where Ray's body was discovered. When asked about it, Graham insisted it was an abandoned crystal mine. Yet the purpose of the map and the haunting reference to first hole seemed to tighten the shadow of suspicion around him. The missing bullets, the strange behaviors, the discrepancies all painted a picture of suspicion without substance. Each new lead promised answers but led instead to darkened paths of ambiguity. As the investigation stretched into months and then years, the Kellett family's hope for answers dwindled, replaced by a searing need for closure. A public inquest was held, but with Graham refusing to testify, the mystery around Ray's death remained unsolved. The coroner's report concluded that Ray's death was likely a homicide, carried out by a person or persons unknown. The family's pain was amplified by the disappearance of Jenny's body. Search parties combed through the desert, rappelling into shafts, each day hoping for a sign of her. But Sandstone, vast and relentless, kept its secrets. For Ray and Jenny's children, justice has remained elusive, and the Sandstone community holds its breath each time someone mentions Jenny's name. For those who venture into the Outback's desolate expanses, her memory persists, a haunting presence amid the mining shafts and desert winds. As time presses forward, the mystery of Ray and Jenny Kellett remains an open wound, a story that Sandstone whispers but will not forget. The government and police advise communities to prioritize safety by staying vigilant, especially in remote or isolated areas. If you sense anything unusual, report it immediately, lock all doors, and avoid direct confrontation with intruders. Always keep emergency contact numbers nearby and practice dialing 911 quickly if needed. Law enforcement encourages residents to maintain open lines of communication with neighbors, forming a strong, supportive network. In cases of suspicious activity, document every detail that could help identify potential threats. The police urge the public to cooperate fully during investigations, as small observations often lead to crucial breakthroughs in solving crimes.